Hello, my name is Paige Feibelman-Perry, and I'm your instructor for Math 116 online. This presentation is just a brief orientation for your Math 116 class. You're going to need to work with 3 team players. Canvas, you'll have a lot of information in Canvas. We'll talk about this later in the presentation. You want to stay in contact regularly with your instructor, which is me. The best way to contact me is through email, and the email is pperry@suscc.edu. And then most of your work, the bulk of your time, will be spent working in My Math Lab, also known as My Lab Mastering, but we always call it My Math Lab, and also published by Course Compass. Okay, it's also, you can go to www.coursecompass.com to get into My Math Lab. Alright, one thing you're going to need to get started is an access code from the bookstore. You can actually purchase it from the bookstore, or you can purchase it online. You do not need to buy the textbook unless you just want to have a textbook in hand. The access code that you get for My Math Lab will have an e-book. So, and the only time that you'll actually use it, unless you just want to read it and refer to it, maybe work some extra problems, is the final exam will have a study guide, and it will point you to some problems in the book. But again, you can get those in My Math Lab. You can use My Math Lab to access those problems. You will also need a course ID number. You will find this in the course outline, also the syllabus, and in your Getting Started module in Canvas. Okay, so, and obviously you're already logged into Canvas. If you're watching this video, you're already logged into Canvas through the Southern Union homepage. So, alright, there's 4 modules in Canvas. The first one is Start Here, Read This First. You have to read through every item in that module in order before you can go on to the next one. And we'll talk in detail about what's in that module in just a minute. The second module is Getting Started in My Math Lab, with instructions on how to use My Math Lab. The third one is a tutorial schedule. There's nothing in that module right now because I don't have the tutorial schedule. As soon as I get it, I will post it, and I will email you to let you know that it's been posted. And then the course survey is something that you will complete at the end of the semester, after the last day to withdrawal, before the final exam. Okay, your Start Here, Read This First module. You start with this orientation video. Then after that you have your online course outline, that's your syllabus. That does have your course ID in it that you need to get into my class in My Math Lab. Your due dates handout, I would highly recommend that you download that and print it out so that you always have a copy of the due dates. You do have due dates in My Math Lab, but this handout has even more important due dates, like the final exam and when to let me know when you're going to take it, and the course survey and other dates that are important are also in the due dates handout. So download that and print it out. Instructor contact information is there with my phone number, my office location, and my email. Grading policies you will find there. We're going to talk more about that in a moment. Course expectations are there, and the makeup work policy basically says that there is no makeup work. Deadlines will not be extended for any reason because you're given ample time, at least 2 weeks, to complete each group of assignments. So, getting started in My Math Lab, you have a student registration handout. It also has the course ID number on there. You have technology support information. If you have problems with Canvas or with your Southern Union email, it has an email for support for that, and then it also has email and phone number for assistance with My Math Lab. And then there's also a link that takes you directly to My Math Lab. So you don't have to use that link every time, but it's good the first time that you're going to set up your account and register. So My Math Lab, you will need to purchase the access code to register. That's either from the bookstore or online. You're going to register. When you register, make sure you use an email address that you check regularly, and make sure that everything's entered correctly so that you don't have problems accessing it later because of a typo. And then you'll use the course ID number provided in your syllabus to enroll in Math 116. In My Math Lab, you will have video lectures, online textbook, the PowerPoint presentations, animations, and then within your homework you have some tools like Help Me Solve This will take you step by step, helping you work through the problem. View an Example will just show you step by step an example. Ask My Instructor will send me the exact problem that you're having problems with, so I can see it and kind of try to tell what's causing your problem. And then Work Similar Problems is in case there's a topic that you feel like you're not getting enough practice with, you can hit Similar Problems at the bottom and work more problems similar to it. You can work as many problems as you want to in homework. It will not count against you. It will take your highest grade. You can perfect homework. You can do it over and over until you have 100 on everything. And like I said, it will just always take your highest grade. Alright, your pretest. When you work in My Math Lab, it's set up so that you're always you have 4 different tests, and each test includes 2 or 3 chapters. And before you start working homework in those groups, you're going to first take a pretest. Your pretest does not count anything towards your grade, but you want to do the best you can on it because it does assign what homeworks you'll have to work. Okay, so if you do really, really well on the pretest, you may not have as many problems to do in homework as somebody who doesn't do well on the pretest. But don't cheat, because you need the practice. Use the pretest to help My Math Lab decide what you need the most practice on, because you want to be prepared when you come in to take your final exam. It's a big chunk of your average, and if you haven't been practicing what you need to, you won't do well on the final exam. So take the pretest, do the best you can, and then you start working on homework, and then you take your test. Okay? So your first pretest, this is very important, your attendance verification assignment is your first pretest. And the deadline is posted in your course outline and in your due dates handout. You must complete this assignment, pretest 1, on time, or I have to report you as a no-show, and that could possibly result in you being dropped from the course, completely dropped from the course. Your homework is going to count 30% of your final grade. You'll begin working the homework after each pretest, and you can work on the homework up until the deadline. You can work to perfect your homework. You do need to pay attention to how the computer wants the answers written. Sometimes it'll say write as a fraction in lowest terms. Sometimes it'll say write as a decimal. But you want to write it the way they tell you to. You'll save some time if you'll read your problems carefully and pay attention to the little notes under the answer spaces. Your online test will count as 30% of your final grade. Now the difference between the homework and the test is you can't retake the test. You'll only have 90 minutes to complete the test, and no retakes allowed, no extensions of deadlines. But it's important that you do your own work. Don't get assistance from books or notes or friends. Treat it as an in-class test, because that's what's going to help you know if you're ready for your final. Don't wait until the last minute to take the test. Do it several days before the deadline, and you can always continue working ahead. You can't work past the deadlines, but you can work ahead of the deadlines. When you wait until the last minute, you might run into a situation where you have a computer go down and you don't have a backup, or you get kicked out of a test and I'm not going to check email at 10 o'clock at night, so I won't be able to help you out at that point. So work ahead of schedule. Okay. Your final exam is comprehensive. It is on campus. The exams are the week before final exams, regular final exams, and your dates and times are listed in your syllabus, or your outline, also in your due dates handout. So go ahead and make plans now to attend one of these times. You have 4 time options for taking the final exam. When you come to take the final exam, you need to bring with you a calculator that is not on a cell phone or not on anything that's internet capable, a green Scantron form, a number 2 pencil, and a picture ID, because I may not be at all 4 of the scheduled times for the final exams. It may be some other math instructor giving your final. You can check your progress at any time in the gradebook in my math lab. Alright, the course survey must be completed before you come to take the final exam. It will be available after the last day to withdrawal and before the final. Now this is different from the online course evaluation that the traditional classes take. That one is found on the Southern Union website. Your course survey will be in Canvas. It's the very last module in Canvas. And I will be sending out directions and reminders toward the end of the semester to make sure everybody gets that done, because you don't want to show up for the final. The proctors giving the final exam will know whether or not you've taken it, and they'll send you to another building to do that if you haven't already completed it, so you don't want that to happen. You will receive email reminders from me at least every 2 weeks. If you're not getting an email from me, then you need to contact me and let me know something's wrong. Also read the announcements on the home page of my math lab, because they announce downtime well in advance, so plan ahead. If you get kicked out during a test, only your instructor can give you permission to restart it. Of course, always call my math lab. If you have run into any technical difficulties like that, call my math lab support. If you have any problems, that contact information is posted in the syllabus. Again, don't wait until the last minute to complete assignments. Have a backup plan and plan ahead. It's also very important that you do your own work, because the final exam is 40% of your grade. Keep me informed of any problems that you might have, any special needs that you might have, and try to think of this as just a regular class, schedule time every day or at least every other day to work on this.